Yoni and I'm back with another video. Welcome to the Feminine Yoni, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to flirt, how to interact with men, and how to also work in a room with a man that you are potentially interested in. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So first up, I want to start with how to flirt. So this is like my favorite thing to do. I love to flirt. I love to flirt. I love to be a big flirt. So my number one go-to when it comes to flirting, my approach. Like, I want to make sure that when I flirt that I am just open. And to make yourself open and available to men, you just have to be bubbly and you have to giggle and you need to laugh and you just need to let your hair down and be fun, and you just need to just be in a space where you're tapping into your inner child and you're just goofy and funny. Men love this. Like, they will not forget you if you are the goofy, funny girl. Personally, you guys, I'm like the awkward girl, okay? I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what my stereotype gives off. I am the awkward, goofy girl. And when I get comfortable around you, then I become like super witty. But if you give me comfortable vibes, like comfortable energy, then I will definitely be more open and witty up front. But I have to kind of feel you out a little bit to see if you can really handle my type of wit. I love to flirt with humor. I love to flirt with wit. I love to flirt with jokes. I love to flirt by tapping into my inner child, and it has really gotten me some numbers that I'm just like, oh my god, I got his number. Like, oh my gosh, I got his number, I got his number, I got his number, and I didn't have to give him mine. So one thing that I don't do is try to ask a man out. I try to avoid that at all costs, because I feel like once you ask a man out, then you have to initiate further. That means you need to pay for the date. That means you need to pick a place for the date and things like that. And I just try not to put myself in that space. I try to avoid it completely. So I rely on being a huge flirt. And like I said, I like to tap into my inner child. I like to tap into my humor. I like to tap into my wit. And I like to tap into being a jokester and trying to fill out a guy to see what he likes in humor or wit and see if we are compatible in that way. But if you are really trying to get a man's attention, be a huge flirt and really tap into your inner child. It works, trust me. And when you guys start to do this, please DM me on Instagram so I can hear the stories, because the stories are going to be so much fun. Like, I love to hear stories. So make sure you DM me on Instagram because I want to hear, how did it go? How did it go? Tap into your inner child and just have fun. Let your hair down. Next, I want to also teach you guys how to get a man's attention in a room. Like, how do you work a room where you're trying to get a man's attention without necessarily approaching him? So my first step is eye contact. And you guys should have known this, but I tell you guys this all the time. Make sure you are giving eye contact. So like, say he's across the room or whatever like that, and you look up and you're like, oh my god, like, he is so cute, he is fine, I'm trying to talk to him. Oh, I'm looking at his shoes, the shoes check out. Oh, okay, look at his attire. I'm like, okay, he dressed real nice. So how do I get this man's attention without coming across as thirsty? Eye contact, you guys. Eye contact. Now, at the time, he may be, a little occupied. He may even be talking to another woman. But all you have to do is make eye contact. And also, the second step is also to isolate yourself. Like, say you're with a group of girls, you need to get away from them, because 9 times out of 10, if you are around a group of women, that's a little intimidating. So it's kind of like you need to go off and kind of isolate yourself a little bit from your friends. Maybe go to the bar and be like, hey, I'm gonna go get us some drinks or something like that. Use an excuse to kind of get away from your girls so that you can make proper eye contact with him so he will approach you. But in the meantime, like, maybe you are with your girls, and while you're, socializing with your girls and things like that, you are making eye contact with this man, and then you isolate yourself. But before you isolate yourself, make sure you are making strong eye contact and he's making strong eye contact back. And if you guys keep locking eyes, keep locking eyes, keep locking eyes, I always try to give it 3 times. If he locks eyes with you 1, 2, 3, it's a go. So if he locks eyes with you 1, 2, 3, go. That means he's interested. So then you kind of get away from your girls, you go to the bar, you get some drinks or whatever, and most likely he's gonna come over to the bar and pay for your drinks. I do it all the time. He gonna go pay for your drink, sis. Okay? That's how you work a room in a room with a man that you are potentially interested in without going up to him, approaching him, and being thirsty. Now, I will say this. If you make eye contact with him 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, the whole night, and he doesn't approach you, most likely it could be because of the room that he's in, or it could be that he's just simply not interested, or it could be that maybe he is not the alpha male type. So you have to decide as a woman if you're okay with that. But any type of alpha man, if you make eye contact with him, you guys lock eyes 3 times, it's a go. He's going to approach you. He's going to buy you drinks. He's going to buy drinks for all the women that you're with if you're out with your girls or whatever. So just make sure that you are getting the 3 lock eyes. And if you're getting the 3 lock eyes, it's a go. If he does not approach you, then he's not an alpha male. And you have to determine whether or not you are okay with that. Me personally, if a man does not approach me after us locking eyes 3 times or more, then I'm just assuming that he's either not an alpha male or he's just not that interested in me, and that's okay too. So another thing is like, okay, so say the guy finally approaches you and you're trying to spark up conversation. You're probably trying to figure out, well, where do I start? First and foremost, you always start with humor, laughing, giggly, bubbly, and also I like to be a little on the, you know, touchy feely side, because I feel like men then know that you're really interested, but you do it in very subtle ways. Like you may like rub on their wrist. My thing is the wrist, like the hand. I'm signaling to him like I am interested, but like in a very, you know, sensual, like, hey, nice to meet you type of way. And I introduce myself, and I may like, as I introduce myself, you know, we may formally shake, but then I'm like rubbing on his forearm, very sensual, but not too much to where it's like, oh, your hands on type, you know, but just very like subtle. And, you know, kind of like how men will do when they touch the small of your back or the middle of your back. You kind of want to do the same when it comes to men, because that shows that you're inviting, you're open, and that you're definitely interested. But just don't make it too obvious, but like obvious enough to where he can feel you rubbing on his forearm or his wrist. I always go for the wrist because it's the safe zone. It's like not personal space, but it is, because you are touching the next person, but it's not like OCD. It's just very sensual. It's very subtle, and it's just, hey, nice to meet you. And it's just very sensual. Like that is my thing. Like when I'm really interested in a guy, that is what I do. Things that you can talk about when you finally get his attention. You're isolated away from your girls. You're probably getting the girls some drinks, and you guys are sparking up conversation. It's just a good time. So maybe things hit off at the bar. You take your drinks back with your girls, and maybe he's wanting to sit down with you and conversate more because he really enjoyed your approach and your interaction, or your first interaction. So now it's like, okay, what do I talk about? In my opinion, I try to stay away from serious topics like politics, religion. I try to make it very lighthearted. I try to make it very lighthearted. I try to stay away from celebrities because you don't want to come across like you're that gossip girl. I try to talk about like things that truly matter. Of course, I feel like you should always ask what a person does, you know, and then kind of go off from there, kind of branch off from there. So then you kind of ask them like, okay, so what do you do? And as you ask them what they do, throw in some humor, some wit. You got to feel out a person to make sure what type of humor they're into or type of wit that they're into. You can kind of branch off from there and just make it lighthearted. Make sure that this person knows that you're just being a jokester, you're just being witty, you're just being humorous, and you are just warm and inviting and bubbly and you're super giggly and you're laughing, and men really, really love that. Another topic of conversation is like when you ask them where they work, or you know, what they do for a living, then you kind of branch off from that. But don't keep the conversation boring, okay? Like, you need to, the only reason why you're asking this man what he does for work is so you can kind of bring some more humor to the conversation. It's not so you guys can sit here and have a deep, serious conversation. Not on the first interaction, like maybe like the second or third date, but you don't want to get into a conversation where you guys are talking about what you do and it's starting to become like the typical first date where you're trying to get to know someone and you're asking them what they do, what they like, and all. It's like, stay away from that. Be in this lane of lighthearted fun, lighthearted humor, and just be humorous, witty, and just fun. And the only reason why you're asking this man what he does for work or for a living is so you can kind of figure out more about who he is, maybe where he comes from, his childhood, so that you can kind of tap into his inner child so that you guys can have a good time. And if you're not tapping into his inner child, then you may not be compatible with this person. But if you are able to tap into his inner child by asking him what he does for work, well, how did he get into that, then you're just adding humor on top of that. You're not drilling him like a drill sergeant trying to get more information out of him as far as what he does for a living. So you just are asking him these probing questions so that you can bring more humor to the conversation, where you can bring his inner child out. And he will definitely remember you from the night because you were his entertainment. Yes, you were his entertainment for the night. You were his highlight of the night, and he is going to remember you. He's definitely going to give you a call. And if you don't know how to be humorous or be witty, I feel like you need to tap into more of your identity as a woman and really come full circle with who you are as a woman. And once you tap into that, I feel like you'll be able to tap into your inner child, your humor, your wit, and you'll just be able to have fun. So that's all that I have regarding this video. Definitely comment down below if you have some other tips. So this is the Feminine Yoni with Yoni, and I will see you guys in my next video.